Greetings. I'm Brother Judah, a representative of the NMP, the Nazarene Messianic Party. We are an organization that deal with the Hebrew Bible from a social political perspective. Part of our work is to bring forth revolutionary teachings, and our approach is to show the practical application of the Bible and to show that the Bible isn't built on idealism or speaking of an inheritance or a paradise off in the sky and another quasar after a person's die or, somewhere off in the distant future. But to the contrary, the Bible teaches of a social renovation. And so in order for us to synthesize this and to understand these arguments, we believe that we must go into history, deal with social science, and also compare them or put them in juxtaposition to the Holy Scriptures so we could see the parallels. What we also would like to do as well is to begin to go against the grain against male chauvinism. And many people who are familiar with the Bible believe they're familiar with the Bible. They believe that the Bible is built upon male chauvinism and patriarch society, which it isn't. The fundamentals of the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, teaches of equity and the abolition of gender inequality and also ethnic inequality. In the future, hopefully, Most High willing, we will explain that in more detail, bringing more proof. Today, I would like to bring forth a reading by V.I. Lenin, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, written March 4th, 1921, the International Working Women's Day. You can find this archive on Marxists.org, MRXISTS.org. We appreciate the work of Marxists.org. They have literature there, free for people to learn and educate themselves with global struggles of various revolutionaries around the world. So today, we're going to investigate the International Working Women's Day. And it was first published actually on March 8th, 1921. But it was written on the 4th. Signed in Lenin. All right, so we're going to begin. The source is Lenin's Collected Works, first English edition. Progress Publishers, Moscow, 1965, volume 32, pages 161 to 163. So let's begin the reading. The gist of Bolshevism and the Russian October Revolution is getting into politics the very people who were most oppressed under capitalism. They were trodden down, cheated, and robbed by the capitalists, both under the monarchy and in the bourgeois democratic republics. So long as the land and the factories were privately owned, this oppression and deceit and the plunder of the people's labor by the capitalists were inevitable. The essence of Bolshevism and the Soviet power is to expose the falsehood and mummery of bourgeois democracy, to abolish the private ownership of land and the factories, and concentrate all state power in the hands of the working and exploited masses. These masses, get hold of politics, that is, of the business of building a new society. This is no easy task. The masses are downtrodden and oppressed by capitalism, but there is no other way, and there can be no other way, out of the wage slavery and bondage of capitalism. But you cannot draw the masses into politics without drawing in the women as well. For under capitalism, the female half of the human race is doubly oppressed. The working woman and the peasant woman are oppressed by capital. But over and above that, even in the most democratic of the bourgeois republics, they remain, firstly, deprived of some rights because the law does not give them equality with men. And secondly, and this is the main thing, they remain in household bondage. They continue to be household slaves, for they are overburdened with the drudgery of the most squalid, backbreaking, and stultifying toil in the kitchen and the family household. No party or revolution in the world has ever dreamed of striking so deep at the roots of the oppression and inequality of women as the Soviet Bolshevik Revolution is doing. Over here in Soviet Russia, no trace is left of any inequality between men and women under the law. The Soviet power has eliminated all there was of the especially disgusting, base, and hypocritical inequality in the laws on marriage and the family and inequality in respect of children. This is only the first step in the liberation of women. But none of the bourgeois republics, including the most democratic, has dared to take even this first step. The reason is all of sacrosanct private property. Sacrosanct, it is meaning, quote, excuse me, I want to interrupt. Sacrosanct is it is something that is too important and valuable to be interfered with. So the idea is that, you know, private property is sacrosanct. It is not to be interfered with. It's too important, it's too valuable. We can change all other things but private property. This is what Lenin is bringing to the table. And I would also like to add that for verification of the work that they were doing in Russia, Langston Hughes has a work or a book entitled, I Wonder as I Wander. And in fact, in his journeys into Russia or to USSR, he also bear witness of the eradication of prostitution because by law and by practice, educational institutions and trades were opened up to the women, that they had an opportunity to become a part of the society. And they were educated and they became engineers and electricians and thus and such. So Langston Hughes actually verifies some of this work that Lenin is bringing to the table. Back to the reading. The second and most important step is the abolition of the private ownership of land and the factories. This and this alone opens up the way toward a complete and actual emancipation of women, her liberation from household bondage through transition from petty individual housekeeping to large-scale socialized domestic services. This transition is a difficult one, but it involves the remolding of the most deep-rooted, inveterate, hidebound, and rigid order. Indecency and barbarity would be nearer to the truth. But the transition has been started. The thing has been set in motion. We have taken the new path. And so on this International Working Women's Day, countless meetings of working women in all countries of the world will send greetings to Soviet Russia, which has been the first to tackle this unparalleled and incredibly hard but great task, a task that is universally great and truly liberatory. There will be bracing calls not to lose heart in face of the fierce and frequently savage bourgeois reaction. The freer or more democratic a bourgeois country is, quote unquote, the wilder the rampage of its gang of capitalists against the workers' revolution. An example of this being the Democratic Republic of the United States of North America. But the mass of workers have already awakened. The dormant, somnolent, and inert masses in America, Europe, and even in backward Asia were finally roused by the imperialist war. The ice has been broken in every corner of the world. Nothing can stop the tide of the people's liberation from the imperialist yoke and the liberation of working men and women from the yoke of capital. This cause is being carried forward by tens and hundreds of millions of working men and women in town and countryside. That is why this cause of labor's freedom from the yoke of capital will triumph all over the world. March 4th, 1921, Collected Works, Volume 32, Lenin Works Archive. That's the reading on the Women's Day, March 4th, 1921 by V.I. Lenin. Hopefully that you can learn some things from this. We also incorporate, like I said before, the Hebrew scriptures to these readings, and the liberation struggle and the freedom of women is also promoted among the Hebrew Bible. And without women being free, it has been revealed, none of us will be free. So the path to liberation is very important, that we break and smash in pieces the ideology of male chauvinism and liberating the women from domestic and slavery and bondage. Until the next time, hopefully we will meet again. I am Brother Judah from the NMP, Nazarene Messianic Party. And until the next time, peace to you all who sincerely searching.